function. I have here an empty bag of fluids that's been used up. You can start with a new bag of fluids. Just remove the outer cover. We've got the bag. My cats, personally, I like to supplement, we're using lactated ringers, I like to supplement the lactated ringers with vitamin B complex injectable. Vitamin B complex is, when it's injectable, is only available by prescription from your veterinarian. But I simply draw up the B complex that I need in a syringe. Then I add it to the bag of fluids simply by injecting it into this yellow injection port. You can see I've added that. I don't need to do this each time. For me, a bag of fluids lasts about a week. But I've got that added now. Now to add the line, usually you would start with a new line. You'd remove it from the bag. There is a little cover here over the end that goes into the fluids. You would simply remove this cover and add it to your bag. Personally, I use a line twice. This line has only been used once, so I'm just going to use this line again. That's okay, provided you've been very, very careful that the ends of your line have not touched anything to introduce any bacteria. I've been careful, so I'm going to reuse this line. So I simply remove the white cover from the bag of fluids. Then I carefully take my line, remove it from the old bag, and insert it into the new bag. That's it. Now, usually you'll land up with some air in the line. I like to get as much of the air out of the line as I can. Not the end of the world if there's a little air in here, but it can be uncomfortable. So I start by squeezing a little bit on this little port here so that I get some fluid in it. Then I just open the line. You open the line using this roller. I just open it a little bit and let enough fluid run through the line that there's little to no air in the line. The higher the bag is, the more the fluid will flow. That's all I need in this case. I am ready to go. I always keep a clean needle on the end of the line. Some people leave a dirty needle on the end of the line and then just change it each time. I prefer to keep a clean needle on the line just so I don't have any risk of any bacteria from the needle climbing back up the line and contaminating my fluids. But I would advise you to always do the same thing, whether it's a dirty needle or a clean needle. Always do it the same way so that it becomes habit and you don't have to worry about using a dirty needle again on your cat. Now I'm going to go get the cat. This is Afer. Afer's about 19 years old. She was diagnosed with kidney disease about 3 years ago. Yes, she's saying hello. She's been pretty stable over the past 3 years, just using a wet diet, sub-Q fluids, and a couple medications prescribed by her vet. She's getting ready for her fluids. I always do fluids in the same spot. Cats like routine. For Afer, we always do it in the bathroom. She always lies on this towel. I also like that the bathroom's fairly small, so if the cat were to get impatient, which Afer rarely does, she's very good, yes. But if she were to get impatient, it's a small area. I don't usually have to restrain her. She can walk around if she'd like, although Afer's usually very, very good. I hang my fluids up on a towel bar so that it's a little higher than where we're doing the fluids on the floor. The higher the bag in general, the faster the flow will be. I also noted, I used that line for a second time. I also wrote a little 2 on the bag with a permanent marker. That way I remember next time that this is the second use for that line and I'm going to switch to a new line next time. This is a brand new bag, so you can see it's pretty full. Afer gets 50 milliliters twice a day, so I will be going about halfway between the 0 where we are now and the 1. If I had used a new line, I would have used up more fluid to fill up the line, so it would be lower down and I may be going to almost the 1. But in this case, I'm just going to go about halfway to the 1. Okay, to start our fluids, yes, Afer. To start our fluids, you can do it around the flank of the shoulders. I usually use the shoulders. I find a little spot here. I scratch a little bit to desensitize your skin, and I just insert the needle, bevel up, the little hole pointing upward. Then I start the fluids using my roller. Oh, it's kind of cold today. Some cats need more restraint than others. For Afer, I generally just need one hand on her back like this so she knows she's not done. So you can see here, she's got her fluids, she's getting petted. You can see the fluid dripping pretty well. That's pretty good flow. I'm using 19 gauge needles. The lower the gauge, the faster the flow will be. So 18 gauge is faster than 19 gauge, 20 gauge is slower. Again, some cats might need to be restrained more. I might need to hold them between my knees. For most of my cats, I found they very quickly catch on to how this works. And at most, I just need a hand on their back, reminding them they're not done, they need to wait. If watching my flow is pretty good. If for some reason my flow would slow down or stop, generally just turning this a little bit so the bevel points a different direction will be enough to get it going again. Aww. And actually she's done already. She only gets 50 milliliters. So she's all done. I'm careful not to touch the needle to any surface. You don't have to recap the needle. You do risk poking yourself if you do, obviously. I generally do recap the needle though. I usually recap the needles. Makes it a little easier to take it off in my opinion. Remove it and put the new one on. Again, careful that it didn't touch anything. And then I just tighten it by tightening this thing here. And that's it. Afer's done. And we're good to go. Those of my used needles in a sharps container. Some people just return them to the vet and the vet will dispose of them for them. Others use another puncture-proof plastic container. Laundry detergent container, a coffee cream container, something like that. Just mark sharps on it with a permanent marker. And some people go that route. One more look at the fluids, you can see that we did go down about halfway to the 1. So she got about 50 milliliters, maybe a teeny bit more. Done. I use my hanger to hang my line, and I put it behind this towel, covering it with the towel, because B-complex degrades with light exposure. So this way my fluids are protected from light. Also, you can kind of see here, I keep a heating pad here. In the wintertime when it's cooler, I actually turn this heating pad on a half hour to an hour before I give fluids, so the fluids are warm and not cold if it's been cold in the house.